Hi guys! Now this new quilt block is definitely one of my favorites. And I know I say that about all of them. You know, what can I say? I love what I do. Today we're making a butterfly quilt block. Two ways, of course, because it's always good to have options and because I couldn't really decide which one I liked best. But you know, for my last quilt block video, I made 22 variants and had to split them into 2 videos, so 2 isn't that bad. Now, before we start, just a quick word of thanks to all of you who support me and this channel on Patreon. You know, each time you buy something on Amazon using my affiliate links, and whenever you go on Etsy and purchase something from my Sandy on Etsy shop, you allow me to keep doing what I love every single day, and I am very, very grateful for each and every one of you. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so for this one we will need 2 different fabrics, 2.5-inch squares, and we just lay them on top of each other, right sides together, and then we've done this a couple of times. We are going to draw a diagonal line. And now what we need to do is we're going to sew on both sides of this line. Be right back. And now, of course, after we've sewn, we just cut the line we drew earlier, and that gives us 2 half square triangles. Okay, so now that we have these 2 right here, we will get 2 more 2.5-inch squares of the butterfly fabric, and we get these teeny tiny 1.25-inch squares of the background fabric, and we'll just add them to 3 of the corners of these bigger squares. And then we are just going to sew them diagonally, just like so. And essentially what we're doing is we're replacing the corners of the bigger squares for these fabrics, okay? And you can draw a line if you want, or you can just pin them like I'm about to do and just go for it. Okay, and now that we have done that, it is time to assemble our tiny little puzzle. Here are our butterfly wings. And here is our complete butterfly. Okay, I think this is a really teeny tiny block, and we could do a little bit better because I think this butterfly needs a little bit of a frame. Now, you don't need to do this necessarily because we already have a butterfly, but I think it just looks better, you know, to frame our little butterfly. And you know, to do that, you could simply add a strip of fabric around our butterfly and make that butterfly vertical. But I think it will look much better if we take 2 background squares, 3.75 inches each, and just cut them in half diagonally. And then we add them on here, and our butterfly will be diagonal as well. Let me show you. So we just cut these into 2 triangles each, just like so, and then we are just going to be adding something like this. And that's it. First butterfly is done, and it looks absolutely perfect. Okay, now for our second one, we will need 3 different fabrics, 2 for our butterfly and 1 for the background. So we will need 2 5-inch squares, 1 from the background, which is this blue right here, and 1 for our butterfly fabric. Then we will need 5 2.5-inch squares for the other butterfly fabric, and 3 2.5-inch squares from the background fabric. And the idea here is the smaller squares are always half the size of the bigger ones, okay? So if it's 5, it's 2.5, if it's 6, it's 3, and so on. So keep that in mind if you want to make, you know, bigger quilt blocks or smaller quilt blocks. That's the way it goes. So the first step is taking the big squares and 3 of each of these, so we will leave those to a side, and then we are going to join them in pairs, right sides together as usual. And we will be doing pretty much the same thing we've done for the other butterfly. You know, we will be drawing a diagonal line across these pairs, and then we will sew on both sides of the line we just drew, okay? Nothing to it. So let me just mark this. You know, for the tiny squares we used, I didn't really draw a line because they were really tiny, but anything bigger than 2 inches, I think the line pretty much helps to keep you in place. Or you may just find yourself with a round line, with a curve, and that's not what we want. We want crisp, straight lines. I think I'm going to pin this one, particularly the bigger ones, because we don't want them to move as we sew. We want them to stay put. And again, stay away from the sewing area. We don't need... These pins are sewable, supposedly, but yeah, I don't like it when my needle goes over them. It's unnecessary effort, and plus it is another very easy way to get your line to wobble, and we don't want that. Okay, so we are going to sew on both sides of the line we drew, okay? Be right back. And now we just cut the squares in half, and then we get, you know, 2 half square triangles, just like so. So far we haven't done anything too weird or anything new, anything we haven't done before. So this is pretty much a piece of cake, don't you think? I'm missing one. Yeah, here he is. And now we need to press these open before we carry on. Okay, so now that we have all our pieces, we are just going to assemble our tiny little puzzle like so. So over here we just draw a bit of a cross around it, and we have done this for one of the variants. Don't know if you recall the variants we did for our last, well, the second to last video. We did a cross that was just like so. So this is the bottom, and now we need the top, our lovely, lovely wings. And here we go. Our lovely butterfly ready to be sewn together. So be right back. Okay, so this is what we have, and we will definitely need to trim this a bit because they are not equal, and that's normal because we only have one seam here and we have like 3 here. So naturally, you know, the lower side would be smaller, but then we will trim and everything will be just fine. Very, very gorgeous. Now again, this butterfly quilt block looks pretty much complete, but I think we should add a frame to it, you know, because we did in the last one. But now we'll make it vertical, just because it's already a pretty big quilt block, and if we make it diagonal, like we did for the first one, it would be a pillow-sized quilt block. And you know what happens when I get a pillow-sized quilt block, don't you? I make a freaking pillow. But I'm not doing that today, no pillow. So let's just add some background fabric to make a strip frame. So let's just get some background fabric and make a little fabric strip. And that's it, guys, our second butterfly quilt block is done. What do you think? Which one is your favorite? Let me know in a comment below, because I would love to know. Thank you for doing this with me, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did, and I will see you really, really soon. Bye bye.